Hey everyone, it's Brian with GreyWolf Towers again. My son Ethan, or Mini Wolf, and my mom is here. And again, we haven't posted the videos yet, so we haven't gotten a nickname, but if you have a good nickname for her, go ahead and let us know in the comments. If not, we're thinking right now Grand Wolf. Let us know if you like that, or if you don't, leave us a different one. This video here that we're going to be posting on this is going to be the installation of the motherboard. However, anyone that's doing a complete build of a computer should always keep cable management in mind from the very beginning. And so for that, we're going to have everything lined up and ready to go so that it's quick and easy and as simple as possible. So for this, what we're going to want to do is some of these cables are going to go directly to the motherboard, and they're going to be towards the back of the case, towards where the expansion slots are. So to get this ready and so that we have less difficulty later, we're just going to go ahead and there's a slot right there. We're going to put the audio cable through so that it's ready to go. And then the USB 3 we're going to leave out for later because that one will be simple to put through with other stuff. But we do have all of the many front panel type items such as power switch, reset switch, light to the power switch, light to the hard drive, all that kind of stuff is through this. And rather than waiting until the very end, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put it through now before we put the motherboard in. And so we're going to run that through to the inside of the case. Just do this side, there we go. And so with cable management, when we have the motherboard in and connected to everything, we'll go ahead and tie these down, and we'll show that as well because that's part of this video. But this allows us to have a little bit of knowledge ahead of time of where the cables are so that we can have it set up and more organized than normal. So now with that said, we're going to go ahead and flip this over, and we're going to leave it this way. So now for this particular system, the way that this is, we've got over here on this side the motherboard power supply cable, which this one is just the 4+4 for the CPU. I don't think you can actually see it on the video, so I do apologize. But then we've got the audio cable that we just ran, and we've got the front panel connectors that we just ran. So we're going to set this up out of the way. And so this is just going to be up here so it doesn't fall down. And these we're going to go ahead and set this way so they don't get in the way either. And then we're going to grab the motherboard. And then we're going to, oh wait, sorry, we did miss a spot. First is the I/O shield. That one's going to be a little bit tricky because it always gets me at least. So now for this, it goes this way. So this snaps in kind of like old snap type models. But if you don't do it just right, it can be a little tricky. So you're going to need to take a moment here to do this. And it might take a couple times of flipping it into place. But see how it clipped? And you're just going to do that on the whole thing. Make sure that the one side doesn't pop out.
Cord's in the way.
And move it out of the way, it's fine.
I think it just went in.
Almost. There we go.
Okay.
And it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. So we're good there. So now is the motherboard part. So we just want to face it the right direction. So if you go ahead and hold it up. Now we're going to hold it this way so that we can easily maneuver and not block where we're seeing everything so we can see it. So go ahead and grab it from this, okay? Go ahead and grab it from there. Yep. Okay. And so go ahead and line it up with this particular back plate. It'll slide right in for those video connections. There you go, and then just kind of, there you go. There you go. Yeah, some of the little bits are getting worn from the in and out. Alright, and so now we will see with that in place, it will have certain holes in place. And so ones like this hole here, that hole there, that hole there, and that hole there will all be lined up. So if you hand me the screws again. Now this case, the mounts for it use, oddly enough, the same ones that you would use on a power supply. We're using silver ones because they're not going to be that noticeable and they'll reflect the blue light. And so it'll actually come in kind of nice as opposed to being black that you don't see. You'll actually see the reflection of the lights from the fans. So we are going to do 4 screws, although technically this board can run I think 6 if I remember correctly. We're only going to do 4 because it's all we've got the standoffs for. Standoffs unfortunately are not universal. Some cases follow the same M3 style, Some go off of M5s, and I think these are M5s. So we're going to go with these. Trusty screwdriver. Again, this is the Tack Life electric screwdriver. Got it on Amazon for, I want to say 15-20 bucks. It was not expensive. And then the bits. There you go. I need the extender out of the bits box. So there we go.
It's still Phillips head.
Yep. So the only adapter we're going to need, because it is still Phillips head, is we're going to use the extender, and this will allow for the tip to go further in, and that way on the back screws we will actually be able to get down to them, whereas this neck part would actually block us from doing that with our hand on it if we were to try and reach down in. So all you have to do is go ahead and place a screw down in there, and then you'll tighten it into place.
Which one? I'm
This one right there. Yep.
Okay.
And just drop it in so that it hits the spot. And then here's the screwdriver. It's already set to drive in. Oh, one second. Hold on. Changing the clutch setting. There we go. And it's the correct one.
I forgot. Yeah. Do I keep going?
There you go. And I'm going to tell you all right now, if you're a novice, I usually don't recommend using an electric screwdriver just because you can strip the parts. But I've used this driver, I trust it, and I'm okay, and I can guide her with the settings. But generally you do want to screw it in until it's what's called hand tight. It does not, it has never in my entire life have I ever heard the phrase screw with confidence, as was done in the Verge video. It's screw until it's hand tight, meaning it'll stop. And if you tighten it, it'll still go, but that's when it starts to crack stuff. You just want it until it's tight enough that it holds it firmly in place. It's called hand tight, not with confidence. So go ahead, and the next one, we've got one up here, we've got one over there, and one down there. You can go any pattern you want. Generally, I myself do it in, again, the star or cross, but it's not something that you have to worry about. You just want to make sure that you...
This one I can't get out.
You just want to make sure that you do not go too tight. So that is that. But if you do have a larger board in a case like this, then you would want to make sure you put these on before locking it into place. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these cables into here. Alright. So now if you look at it, it's got a diagram here.
Yeah.
And if you give me the screwdriver, I'll shine a light on it and I can help you out.
Yeah.
So the way that it is the hard drive use lights, which are this one right here. There you go. That one goes, see the little plus and minus? So the plus is on this side, the minus is on this side, and it says plus on the outside and the minus on the inside. So it's, there are these two lines right there, there's two little pins on the very end of the white. So it goes onto the one on the farthest white corner here, and then the one next to it. Nope, nope.
No.
Turn sideways with the writing facing this direction. So you want...
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Okay.
So there you
The
go.
front?
Yep. There you are. Perfect.
Oh.
Okay. Alright, so now it then also says that the power LED is the
Next
plus
to?
and the minus. So plus in the back, minus in the front.
Okay.
It's the power LEDs are these two single ones. That one is the plus and this one is the minus.
So the minus goes on first.
If you wanted
That's
to
the one in the back, right?
No, the minus is on the front. It's towards the front of the computer. So the minus will go on the inside, the outside is going to be the plus. Or the, yeah, minus, plus.
So it's going this way?
The color, the writing on these doesn't matter because they're individual, whereas on the other one, it was tied together, so the plus and minus was specific.
Right, but I
So-
mean, this one,
Right.
this one is just on the front too. This goes on the front and the back?
It goes on the two that are right behind it, these two right here.
Oh, behind
Right.
it, okay.
So it'll go, the one closest to the front of those two is going to be the minus,
Minus.
and the one closest to the rear is the plus. There you
Okay,
go.
this is the minus.
And they don't have to be facing any specific direction, they just have to be plugged into those specific pins.
So the plus goes in the back.
And this would be one of the reasons that I have Ethan help me so much is because my hands aren't dexterous enough.
Yeah, but that's, it's hard to hold just little things
It
like
is.
that.
It is.
Okay.
So those are now in place. So now the next one will be the reset switch. So happens to be the one that I actually grabbed.
Okay.
So the reset switch is that one there, and that goes to the ones next to the one on this side.
Okay.
So, and because it's just a standard switch, it doesn't matter positive or negative, it just has to go into those two pins. Because it'll make a connection when it resets, and it,
Like that?
perfect. And then the power goes on the exact other side of those, like the
Oh.
lights did.
And it doesn't matter
Doesn't
where it's
matter.
facing?
Nope. Because again, it's just closing a circuit switch, and so all it is if it makes the connection, then it's there. If it doesn't, then it's not.
One pin is, it felt like one was crooked in there. Got it.
All right. So that is the front panel connections. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the light because we won't need the light anymore right now for this video. So the next thing is we're going to do the CPU power connector, which is this one that's over here.
Sticking up there.
And they'll only plug in one way, but it's this little clip here. This little clip
Yeah.
has a little catch on one side of the 8-pin, which feels like it's this side right here. You see my finger?
Ah, yeah.
So you put it into that socket where the catch will click in place.
Yeah, right.
It's one of the harder ones for me as well in these cases, so.
Underneath my wrist.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And then just make sure it clicks in.
Yeah. Now it's-
All right.
I couldn't see it. Thank you.
Yep, perfect.
Black
All right.
and black.
So now there are a couple of other items that we're going to plug in before we're done the motherboard install. And so we're going to flip it over, and we're going to now run the other two cable ends that we need.
There's a cable stuck under.
That's the one that we're going to use. And there we go. We're also going to use this huge giant one.
Okay.
So now this one is going to plug in up here. So we're going to run it through
The bottom.
this way. Well, this is where they're designed to go through, is right here, where my fingers
Oh.
are. And then it just plugs into that
Is
plug.
the clip facing the right way?
We can drop it down for that. There you go. And it should
Goes
be.
in this one?
Yep, it goes in that one. And again, it'll only fit one way, but sometimes you gotta twist it if it's not already facing the right direction. Now for this, I do suggest that you hold the motherboard up a little bit while pressing in,
Okay.
because if it does not have the right amount of pressure holding it up, then it can snap the motherboard. So I'm gonna hold it here, and you just,
Oops,
you're good.
sorry.
Just push the socket in. There you go.
There.
And then just make sure we're good.
Yep.
All right, and then so on the cable management side, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull it a little taut, and then this will be secured on these little pieces later when we're ready to
Right, tie down.
completely tie it down.
Okay.
So now, let's see, this cable here is for the USB 3, which on this motherboard is right next to that, so we're going to run it through the same hole. There you go, perfect, excellent. There you go, and then I'll go ahead and drop this down, there you go. And then it's got this little notch on it, and the notch lines up on this spot here. Now some motherboards will have it on a side other than that, so you do have to keep that in mind.
All right, I need the flashlight again from this side, please. Back here.
Here, I gotcha.
Yeah, thank you.
And then just push down.
No.
Yep.
Did I get your finger? Sorry.
Yeah, it's for.
It got
That's
in?
fine, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Just double check, yeah, that's good.
All right.
All right, and so this, again, we're just gonna pull a little taut, not real taut, just a little. And this runs straight up to the USB 3 header on the front.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that is the main connections to the motherboard. There are two other cables we do need to put in here. Those are these cables here. These are the SATA cables. We're gonna go ahead and add them onto the motherboard just so that they're plugged into place. And for these, we're kind of going to do it the reverse. We're going to go from this side. Now, if you look really closely at the motherboard, you will see where it says SATA, and then it's got numbers. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, yeah.
5.
Okay.
So that's which ones they are in the grand scheme of numbering. It's kind of like a priority listing of which hard drive that's connected to it gets priority.
Oh, okay.
So you want your boot drive in the main one, and then your storage drive, if you have one, in the others.
Okay.
Now this one is a 90-degree header, so it plugs in like this on either a hard drive or the motherboard. With this particular motherboard, the way that it's lined up, I would put it into this one here.
Okay.
So, and we're going to do the 90-degree on the motherboard itself, because we're going to...
With the clip in the back?
Yeah,
Behind,
that's
between?
right. Yep, right there. There you go. And so we're going to do it this way because we want to have the flat tip on the drives, because the way the drives are going to sit. If we use the 90-degree on the drive itself, because of the angles and everything, it might actually knock loose when we put the backing on, or it could knock loose during use. And to avoid that, we'll use the straight ends on the drives themselves, and it won't have that problem.
Okay.
And then this cable here is just, both of them are straight ends, and we're going to put that in the 0 spot because it's going to be our boot drive.
Clips go in the back?
No, that one might actually be reversed. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
Ouch.
Be careful.
My fingers.
All right. So, now these two cables are the data cables for the hard drives, so we're not going to do anything more on this video for that. But the next video will be us doing the next step of the build, so keep that in mind. If you enjoyed our video on installing a motherboard, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of our content as we release it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And as always, feel free to leave a comment down below letting us know your thoughts of the item, as far as installing. If you have any questions about it, or questions for myself, my son, or my mom, go ahead and let us know in the comments. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone.